Hello, everyone, and welcome to a very special episode of the IA Talks AI. This is the Investment Association's podcast series that explores everything to do with AI in the investment management industry. Now, this is only the second time that we've recorded an episode in front of a live audience, so thank you all very much for being part of this. It's great to see so many of you here. Now, today's conversation is going to explore AI and the hugely exciting FinTech scene in Scotland. And we're also going to dive into how AI is transforming the investment management industry and what changes we should all expect to see in the years ahead. And we couldn't hope for better guests to explore these topics. We're joined by Alex Tomczyk, the CEO designate of FinTech Scotland. Alex has just taken up the reins of running FinTech Scotland after having built two successful startups from the ground up, amongst many other things, of course. And alongside Alex, we have Dr. Sonia Schulenburg, the CEO and co-founder of Level E Research. And Sonia has a PhD in AI from the University of Edinburgh and is also a former Scottish champion in natural bodybuilding. So, brains and broads. So thank you both very much for joining us. Alex, if we could start with you, please. What has the generative AI boom of the last couple of years done for the fintech scene in Scotland?
It's a great question. I mean, there's a strong argument, of course, that AI had its birthplace in Scotland because the University of Edinburgh has a huge track record in informatics. And indeed, in fact, Sonia came to Scotland to do a PhD in AI. So that's a sort of a foundation of which we've been building on over the last few years. I think the first thing to say is a huge amount has happened in the AI space in fintech in Scotland, but it's really only the start. We've got a lot more that can be done, a lot more that we will do over the coming years, both in terms of the implementation of AI into large financial services firms, and also in the fintech community as well. So I think there's been a burgeoning of activity as a result of that. You could almost think of it. I like to think of it in three different practical ways. You could think about AI being deployed into fairly standard business operational efficiency ways. I'm sure everyone in the room today has been using or trialing with some appropriate guardrails. I hope. The second area, I think, for me, has been in specific use cases for AI to be deployed in organizations. So that might be focusing, for example, on understanding regulatory compliance. It might be on customer journeys. It might be on increasing access using the power of AI to do that. And I think the third area I like to think about is uses of AI which are fundamentally changing business models or enabling new business models to come about. So I sort of like to think about it in those kinds of ways. It also begs the question: what are those? What is happening with those applications, and how you do it? Everyone knows about operational efficiency. Everyone's probably using some form of LLM or something embedded in one of the operational tools that they have. But there's some really interesting topics. We'll perhaps get onto some of the examples as well a wee bit later. But there's a company called ESG 360 who are part of the 260 fintechs in the FinTech Scotland cluster. They particularly help with ESG reporting, and that's something that many of the people here will have as part of their remit, or at least part of their thoughts. And that's a specific solution that leverages AI to enable to do that. Sonia, I've no doubt we'll talk a bit more about Level E a little bit later, but that Level E is a really important business in terms of thinking about the regulation and understanding trading and highlighting key things that go on there. But that's her bag, so I'll let her talk about that. And as another example, there's a company that many will have heard of called Aveni, who are a specific AI tech company for financial services, leveraging a variety of different models in order to help organizations progress. So that's a little bit of a flavor, but the very short answer would be a lot has been going on, and I expect an awful lot more to happen over the next 10, 15 years.
Excellent. And Sonia, it'd be great to hear a bit more about Level E Research. What is it that you do?
Thank you, James. It's great being here to you. Can everyone hear me? Quite well? Okay, thank you. So yes, Level E is an Edinburgh-based fintech, and we are pioneers of agentic AI in asset management. Let me explain what this means. So we basically, as we see, there are two existential problems in asset management. One being obviously increasing costs and regulation complexity, and the alpha crisis. So we come and have developed a technology over 20 years of R&D in machine learning that basically unifies and solves this problem through a unified end-to-end platform called IMAS. So IMAS stands for Investment Management as a Service. And what IMAS is, basically, you can picture that as a platform, which is an ecosystem of AI agents. And these AI agents are solving complex workflows throughout your entire investment management process. So these agents begin with data agents, processing terabytes of data, analyzing it, and then analyst and research agents, which are understanding and learning continuously from this data to find opportunities in the market. And we also have, after the analysts, we have portfolio management agents, rebalancing portfolios, constructing portfolios, following your mandates in risk and objectives and return objectives. And then risk management agents, and last but not least, compliance and reporting agents. So with this ecosystem of agents, our product division, our main one is called AICA, which stands for AI Compliance Agent. And this has been born out of projects from Frill, and we are also part of the engine of this year. And this work has been very important since last year. And we are solving compliance. This has been a direct response to directives such as MAR and MiFID directives from regulators. And what AICA does is basically solving for your compliance teams all your compliance needs in terms of market abuse, market conduct, and it investigates and outputs alerts within milliseconds that would take up to 48 hours to a team just to find a single alert. So we are moving compliance to be from being kind of reactive to be proactive, real time, increasing operational efficiencies, and reducing your time and your costs. So it's just using agents that are intelligent in a way that will be working with your teams 24/7.
It sounds like a huge potential for transformation there. And I know many firms are very interested by the prospect of introducing more agentic AI into their operating models. But if we could just stick with this topic just a while longer, there are, of course, going to be challenges and complications. So would you mind explaining, what are some of the key challenges that firms will face as they start to try and deploy agentic AI within their businesses?
Well, I think that, yes, we certainly see that AI is going to bring transformation across all sectors. I mean, phenomenal transformation. And asset management is not an exception. So it has to be part of this transformation. What we see is that there has been this shift, what I call the old world to the new world, we are moving towards. So in our current and old world, we have been seeing that asset managers have been spending more resources and capital in bringing kind of incremental changes in their technology. So their tech adoption has been incremental, so evolutionary. So what we see now is that this is going to be completely transformed into a full life cycle orchestration of agents. So your agents are basically orchestrating your entire management cycle. They are talking to each other. They are doing all the hard work for you. And we see that humans are going to be moving their roles to being, we currently spend probably 80% or more of our time in routine, repetitive tasks and reporting. So all of that is going to be assigned to this agentic AI, which will take care of these things and is going to orchestrate all the different communications between all the different areas within your business. So this transformation is going to be very key and is going to bring again phenomenal changes in terms of new productivity gains, because operational efficiencies are really moving from days and months to milliseconds if this is used properly, and I'm very excited about this transformation over the next hopefully a few years and not too long.
Excellent. Well, I'm keen to hear more about collaboration. So, Alex, could you tell us about how FinTech Scotland is trying to promote collaboration between the FinTechs and the investment management firms, and also the importance of innovative programs to driving growth of startups?
Sure, of course. So, firstly, many of the organisations in the room today are strategic partners of FinTech Scotland, and what that means is that we sit down and talk quarterly, but particularly once every year, to think about the priorities of firms as they go into the next year and look at how we can build a program of collaboration that works for the specific objective. So, for example, it might be compliance, it might be improving a customer journey, it might be thinking about consumer duty, it might be a range of different. It might just simply be about growing the top line. Some of those things. It might also be about talent and how we attract the best talent to work. So there's lots of priorities that people have. So we sit down and we talk about that, and we build a program of conversations both amongst our strategic partners and with the wider FinTech community that enables interaction on those key themes. So, for example, digital assets are a bit of a topic, as I'm sure you might, and one of the emerging ones is quantum as well. So these are kind of the conversations we're having, and we're actually going through that process of consultation at the moment at the end of this year, looking towards the next year. So that's the first piece, if you like, our strategic partner engagement program, which also works with the FinTechs and our universities. I mentioned the Edinburgh University School of Informatics, but there are plenty of other specialisms in our other universities here as well. And then thinking about a little bit more specifically, we also run targeted innovation programs. And probably the best example of this is something hopefully many of people in the audience today will have heard of, is the Financial Regulation Innovation Lab, which is a collaboration between FinTech Scotland, the University of Strathclyde and the University of Glasgow. And that is a structured programme of knowledge exchange, of research, and particularly of innovation calls around key financial regulatory topics. There have been 6 to date, including ESG, AI and compliance, consumer duty, open banking. The current one is very pertinent to today's audience. It's the Advice Guidance Boundary Review and the future of wealth management. So we're running an innovation program on that. And how that actually works is, in practice, is above, but just beneath that theme, we have a number of use cases, usually about 4 or 5, and then which are developed in collaboration with our strategic partners to then invite FinTechs, or they don't have to be FinTechs. We've had a couple of very large organisations take part as well. And not just limited to Scotland either. We've had them from all over the UK and indeed further afield as well. And then they work together in a very structured program over a period of months to build mutual understanding of the problems and the potential solutions. Why is that useful? Might be a good question. And the answer is it works for everyone, because it enables the large financial services firms to get the benefit of some of the thinking that is going on in FinTechs. It also enables the people with the ideas, the FinTechs, if you like, to do something different, to come along and get some real experience from people who are actually living the function or living the subject matter every single day, and therefore innovate faster, delivering something that has better product market fit. So there's a real collaboration there. And then you mix in the universities, and I think crucially on that particular innovation program, the FCA. The FCA are intimately involved. They second a person into the program to help, and we've got someone particular in the wealth management space just now.
Alex, how important is it in this particular aspect that you have a supportive regulator on board?
I mean, it's really important, and I think you could just make that more general point as well. The regulatory involvement is really, really important because it enables confidence. It enables confidence in the companies or potential partners of FinTechs that the solution is meeting the requirements of the regulator. It also means that the FinTechs themselves, or the innovators themselves, let's call them, can build confidence in that they are going to be able to have a solution that works and will be viable. And I think crucially for investors in the kinds of ideas that go on, it provides some degree of certainty and also reduces that product cycle time as well. So it reduces risk in the investment processes for the VCs or whoever it is might be backing the innovators. So really is a win-win-win-win collaborative thing. And collaboration is absolutely the core of what we do here at FinTech Scotland. That's just one example of a programme, but I think it's a particularly good one.
I couldn't agree more. Sonia, I'm keen to get your thoughts on the value of innovator programmes. What's your experience of them been?
Well, in our case, they have been extremely useful. So we took part in the FRIL, the Financial Regulation Innovation Lab last year. It's highly competitive. We were very lucky. We won that, and we worked with Aberdeen, and then that we worked through the project. Then another year further, we developed really a solution that entirely solves the problem of compliance for the buy side, because systems in the market are solving it for the sell side, which doesn't really help much on the buy side. So a really targeted solution. The relationship with the regulator is critical. With FinTech Scotland, these programs have been very, very useful and supportive in our case. Yeah, the collaboration with industry is just extremely useful.
And it's probably worth just saying that particular collaboration between Leveley and Aberdeen is in fact award-winning. It won Best Collaboration at the FinTech Awards in Scotland just a couple of months ago.
Fantastic.
Yes.
Something else I wanted to ask you about is let's call it the skills gap or the lack of available talent. It seems to be one of the main bottlenecks that is inhibiting firms from perhaps going as fast as they would like to when it comes to developing and deploying AI. So it'd be great to get your thoughts, both of you, on what perhaps can be done to try and bridge this skills gap. Sonia, if we could start with you, please.
Well, in my experience, we have very talented people here in terms of AI, technology, asset management. So that really is what brought me to this country, the traditional asset management and also the traditional AI. Then obviously I came here to change all that, to try to bring them together. And in our case, yes, the talent is critical, and there are the government, I mean, we are allowed still. Hopefully, we won't be doing things like the US charging $100,000 for visas, work visas, because this is critical to us. Just hiring people internationally is critical that are very skillful in different areas.
And Alex, your thoughts?
I mean, this is a whole half an hour discussion on its own, in its own right, to be perfectly honest. But I think the answer is it's multi-layered. We need to be thinking about the long term. We need to make sure that the children, or my children's age, that are going through school get the appropriate skills. We need to be thinking about how we attract the best talent from around the UK into our universities, studying appropriate programs. We need to think about how we attract best talent from overseas into the spaces. We are fortunate in this particular topic area of AI because we have the University of Edinburgh School of Informatics. It's one of the top couple in the world in this particular space. So we have a large talent pool, but we can't be complacent. We have to keep on making sure that particularly if we grow at the size which we all in the industry wish to be successful in, then we must continue to focus on ensuring we get talent in from all sources. So it's hugely important. We're reasonably lucky in Scotland. We've got some great academic expertise which spins out some of those things, but we've got to keep working.
Fantastic. And I think I have just enough time to squeeze in another question for some quick responses. I want to ask you both, do you feel like the industry is moving quickly enough when it comes to adopting AI? Like personally, what I see from many discussions with our members is that we have perhaps a bit of an uneven approach to AI. Some firms moving very, very fast, others perhaps not so. So it'd be great to get your thoughts on this, and perhaps what would you say to those firms who are maybe dragging their feet slightly at the moment?
I think that there are many firms that are moving quite proactively these days, so that's very, very encouraging. And I think that the critical thing here is that asset management is a business, a people-based business. They have not been basically built as data-centric companies. So therefore, I think it's critical that asset managers understand that the best way forward is really to delegate, and with fintechs that are like native AI players, rather than trying to build in-house, because R&D projects are extremely uncertain to predict. They are very low probability of success. It's a completely different breed of models. It's not just an LLM thing that you just will use an LLM a large language model just to read some of your reports and speed up some of your analysis. That has no explainability. So there has to be quite a lot invested and firms that are really moving forward very quickly, it's like KYC, right? You can just delegate that to a company, a fintech or payments, because they do it best, and that's not your area. So I think it will help asset managers to move forward very quickly, enhancing these partnerships with fintechs. Or if you just try to do it all in-house, it's going to take decades as
Do you agree?
endorsed.
I agree. There's definitely multi-speeds out there at the moment, and we pick up that very clearly from all the conversations. But there are plenty of ways, if you don't want to own it yourselves in-house, own some of those transformations, there are plenty of ways to engage with others. Innovation is key. Kate Forbes actually talked about that a minute ago.
Yep.
Innovation across the whole sector is really important, and there are lots of ways to help innovation and lots of experience in doing it well. So lean on others might be a good message.
Fantastic. That's a fantastic point on which to end. So thank you both very much. Please do join me in a big round of applause for our speakers.